Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We are ready for the April TBR, and today I'm going to have playing cards select my TBR, but it's going to be a matching game. So I have two decks of cards. One of those decks of cards is inside each of these books on the TBR card, and then I have a secondary deck of cards. So if I were to draw, say, a 3 of puppy feet, then I will look on this card to find the matching 3 of puppy feet, and that will be the book that I'll be adding to my TBR for April. Now there are a couple of cards that I have removed from the deck of cards that's in the books, and that is the Ace and the Joker. So if I draw an Ace or a Joker from my secondary deck, then I can use that card as essentially a wild. And what I can do with that is either swap it out with a book that I've already drawn on my TBR that maybe I don't necessarily want to read, or I can add it to my TBR on top of the other books that I've already picked. Now I'll be drawing 6 cards, so if I elect to add another book to my TBR, then that will be on top of those 6. So I have to draw at least 6 cards that are not an Ace or a Joker. So I could end up with 7 or 8 books on the April TBR depending on which cards I end up drawing and whether I decide to swap if I get an Ace or a Joker, or whether I elect to add to the TBR. Alright, and without further ado, I'm going to take this deck and we're going to give it a couple of quick shuffles. I have already shuffled it quite a few times to try to get them super mixed, but we're going to shuffle 2 or 3 more times just to make sure that they are all mixed up. All right. So my first card I'm going to select is a 4 of puppy feet. So a 4 of puppy feet. Up here, that is this one. Oh, this is great. This is The Sound of Light by Sarah Sundin. I've read 2 books by her and can't wait to keep moving through her books. I have loved everything by her so far. She is such an excellent writer. I think all of her books take place during World War II, so they are always very intense, but I'm excited about this. Let's see if we can find out what this is about. So it says this one takes place in Copenhagen in 1940, and it says when the Germans march into Denmark, Baron Heinrich Alfelt exchanges his nobility for anonymity, assuming a new identity so he can secretly row messages for the Danish resistance across the waters to Sweden. American physicist Dr. Elsie Jensen refuses to leave Copenhagen and abandon her research, her life's dream, and makes the dangerous decision to print resistance newspapers. As Elsie hears rumors of the movement's legendary Havmond, the merman, she also becomes intrigued by the mysterious and silent shipyard worker living in the same boarding house. Heinrich makes every effort to conceal his noble upbringing, but he is torn between the facade he must maintain and the woman he is beginning to fall in love with. When the occupation cracks down on the Danes, these two passionate people will discover if there is more power in speech or in silence. So this looks like another really good book by Sarah Sundin, and the first book selected for the April TBR. Alright, I'm going to give this another shuffle and draw the next card, and we have a 10 of spades. 10 of spades. So the spades are up here, and it is, ooh, The Belle of Chatham, and this is by Laura France. This looks really good. This takes place during the Revolutionary War, and it says the call for liberty creates a divide between family and country, desire and duty, love and loyalty. And it says in 1777, caught in the crossroads of the American Revolution, sisters Maybelle and Coralie Bohannon's quaint New Jersey village becomes a battleground as they house American officers. Rebellion ripples through their family as members take opposing sides, patriots and loyalists, causing a deep chasm that fractures their once unbreakable bond. As May's friendship grows with the American general Reese Harlow, Coralie continues her liaison with her childhood sweetheart, a British officer stationed in New York. May, torn between her deepening love for the general and suspicion that her sister is a British spy, leaves the only home she's ever known for the New York frontier. When betrayal strikes in the heart of the wilderness, she's forced to take a perilous journey that tests her very survival and those she loves, all in the name of liberty. So this looks really good. This is a new release by Laura France. It just came out earlier this year and I've been really looking forward to reading it. So this is pretty great. It's kind of funny though, because the first 2 books that I have are historical fiction that take place during a wartime. So let's see if we can get something maybe that's not set during a historical war. All right, we are moving on to number 3. And give it a brief shuffle and pull one of these cards. Oh, this time we have a 2 of diamonds. 2 of diamonds. Diamonds are right here. Oh, we got a suspense, a romantic suspense. So this is The Killing Tide by Danny Petrie. And this is book 1 in the Coastal Guardians. I've had my eye on this one for a while and I'm looking forward to giving it a try. It says on the back, a corpse that only leads to secrets, an old flame with danger written all over her. Things are about to get very complicated. And this one looks like the Coast Guard is involved, so that's going to be super intriguing. I'm excited about this. It says, when one Coast Guard officer is found dead and another goes missing, Coast Guard Investigative Service Special Agent Finn Walker faces his most dangerous crime yet. His only clues are what little evidence remains aboard the dead officer's boat, and the direction the clues point will test Finn and the guard to their limits. The already volatile situation is complicated even further by the arrival of Gabby Rowley, Finn's boss's sister, and an investigative reporter with unrelenting questions about the crime. Now that she's returned, the tug on Finn's heart is strong, but with the risk she's taking for her next big story, he fears she might not live through it. Thrown together by the heinous crime, Finn and Gabby can't ignore the sparks or judgments flying between them. But will they be able to see past their preconceptions long enough to track down an elusive killer? Or will they become his next mark? So this looks very interesting. I'm excited to give this one a try. And this adds a suspense into the historical fiction mix. All right, we're on to book number 4. There hasn't been an ace or a joker in sight yet, but we'll see what happens here. We may not end up drawing either of those. Okay, next card is a 5 of diamonds. So still in the diamonds, we're going to reach down here. Oh, another romantic suspense. So this is The Escape by Lisa Harris. And this is part of the U.S. Marshals, and this is book number 1 in that series. This one says, how do you catch a fugitive who has nothing to lose? U.S. Marshals Madison James and Jonas Quinn have orders to transport 2 high-profile prisoners across the country on a private plane. But when the plane experiences engine trouble en route from the Pacific Northwest to Colorado, the pilots crash land the aircraft deep in the heart of the sprawling Salmon Challis, I think that's right, Salmon Challis National Forest. With both pilots and 1 prisoner dead and 1 fugitive on the run, Madison and Jonas must negotiate the rugged and remote backcountry as they track a murderer who is desperate to disappear and will do anything to stop them. This one looks really fun. I'm definitely excited to dive into this. All right, here we go. We are gonna draw the 5th card. And let's see what we've got here. 9 of spades. Another spade. So those are right up here. Oh, another historical. We have The Bird of Bedford Manor, and this is by Michelle Greep. This is another new release that I've had my eye on. And this one says, it's a game of cat and mouse when the stalker becomes the stalked. Now that's interesting. I wonder what in the world is happening here. This looks like a little bit of a crossover between a historical and a mystery. It says it takes place in Bedfordshire, England in 1820. It says, ruined by the sins of her father, Juliet Finch is cast into a life she knows nothing about, self-reliance and survival. Not only is she a quick learner, but she discovers she excels at tracking and snaring food for herself and her aunt. It's a humble life, but Juliet embraces her new identity. Until the day Henry Russell catches her poaching on his land, a crime that carries a death sentence. Henry has worse offenses on his mind, however, namely the troublesome stalker who's making a misery of his sister's life. In an effort to put a stop to her torment, Henry charges Juliet with tracking the elusive villain so he can be brought to justice. Using her skills, Juliet hunts down the rogue and soon becomes the prey herself. This looks really interesting. I'm excited to read this. I actually kind of forgot what this one is about because I pre-ordered it a long time ago and it came in and I just added it to my shelf. But yeah, this looks really good. I can't wait to dive in. Okay, we're on to number 6 already. Let's see what we get this time. Quick shuffle. And we have a 4 of spades. We didn't get any hearts. 4 of spades. 4 of spades. Ooh, I've had this one on the list for a while too. This is The Lost Library by Melissa Coslin. This is another romantic suspense, but it has to do with libraries. And I've been really wanting to read this for quite a while, so I'm really excited. This says, her past has caught up with her again. Callie LeBeau has been aiding hackers with her cryptology skills to track an apparent terrorist organization. When they discover what she's been doing, they target her. Asher Cross, billionaire recluse, insists on aiding her, though she doesn't understand why. Asher Cross has secrets. He must help Callie, keep her alive, but he cannot let her understand his past or his motivations in order to protect her. They discover that the terrorist organization is searching for the Golden Library of Moscow, which was first assembled by Ivan the Great and had grown over time to include the oldest and most valuable texts in the world, including missing masterpieces. They believe the library holds black magic and the secret to everlasting life. It was stolen from them by Callie's ancestor, and Callie holds a clue to its location handed down by her mother. In order to free herself and Asher, Callie must race against the terrorists, find the library, and share it with the world. So this has libraries, cryptology, and maybe magic? I'm not sure. This looks like it has a lot of different things going on, and I'm excited to find out what in the world happens in this book. So I ended up not getting any fantasy or anything like that on the TBR for this month, but that's okay. We're just split between 3 historicals and 3 romantic suspense, and I ended up not drawing any aces or any jokers, so I never even got to do any swaps or extra picks, but maybe we'll do this again in the future and see what happens. So just to recap, the first card I selected was a 4 of Puppy's Feet, and that matched The Sound of Light by Sarah Sundin. Next was a 10 of Spades, and that matched The Belle of Chatham by Laura France. Then the 2 of Diamonds, and that matched The Killing Tide by Danny Petrie. And then a 5 of Diamonds, and that matched The Escape by Lisa Harris. Number 5 was a 9 of Spades, and that matched The Bird of Bedford Manor by Michelle Greep. And finally, I drew a 4 of Spades, and that matched The Lost Library by Melissa Coslin. This is going to be our super fun TBR for the month of April. There are several books on here that I've been wanting to read for quite a while, along with several new releases that I'm really excited for. What books are you hoping to read for the month of April? Do you have any particular books that you're hoping will make it onto your TBR? Definitely let me know in the comments below what you're going to be reading in the month of April. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate you all so very much. And as always, remember to keep following your dreams and believing in the magic of this thing called life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.